Those of you, it's hard to recognize familiar faces with masks all over the place. I think we've at least met, and some of you others too. Yeah, we've met. Yes. My name's Steve Hollis. I'm with Mastercare Patient Equipment, and we're going to do a run through of how the equipment functions. You know, you've all had some experience with it, so I hope it's not boring, but hopefully if you've had any issues with it, I might be able to cover that. So please bring up anything as we go along that I could address. I'm going to break this up into two sort of steps, as though you would be using the tub for your, your daily bathing and so on. This is the Entree Bath Gen 3. And it's a little bit bigger than some of our other ones, and it also has the storage tank for rapid fill. And the way it's intended for you to use it, at least that first person that you're going to bathe in the day, you'll want to come to the room and close the door up. I should talk about these. These are your controls for closing and opening the door, shower wand. And this is tub fill, which is actually the reservoir temperature. And then you can, if you've not filled the tub or the tub's been sitting for a certain period of time, you can then go to this thermometer and it'll tell you actually what the temperature of the water in the tank is. So are you all accustomed to that? Okay, yeah. Sometimes it's a little confusing. But, so to get started, we want to close the door. And to close the door, this is a pneumatic switch, so there's no electricity hooked up to it. You don't have to worry about wet hands or anything like that. You do have to push the button until it goes all the way up. Okay, so now some people will stop there because it makes a little bit of a sound. But what's happening is the door is changing from a vertical motion to a horizontal motion. So it's coming up and then it's pulling in. So you have to hold that button until the motor stops. And you can hear that, and if you're not sure, just push it again, and if it makes a sound, keep going. So it's a pretty reliable mechanism, but if you don't get it all the way closed, it is going to leak. So, okay? And the reason we close it up at first is just as we set up the temperature for the water in the tank, there's usually some drippage out of the fill spout, so you want to keep your door closed while you're getting it set up for the first bath. Now, in the shower wand, what we would normally ask that you do is go to the shower wand and turn it on. This is your adjustment for hot and cold. It's a thermoscopic valve, so it only goes up to roughly 110 degrees. And do you guys have issues of running out of hot water? No. Okay. So it should be pretty well set for everything you're doing. Okay. You do run out of hot water?
In the shower.
Oh yeah, well.
It takes forever to get the hot water.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. So.
Adrian says.
But
I don't know.
I will tell you this: if you're getting a lot of showers, this is the best shower cabinet you'll ever find. Because you don't have to use it for bathing. The person can sit in there. You don't have to put your booties on and climb into the shower with them, and it works very well for that. Has anybody just tried that? Is that a feasibility?
It's probably done once.
Yeah. It certainly is a good way to do it. Anyway, so I've brought this up to about 101 degrees, which is pretty close to what temperature you normally would be given a bath. Are you familiar with temperatures, or do you just go by feel?
I go by the residence. Because some they want cold.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and someone they really hot.
Yeah. Well, I'll cover that variation in a moment, but now I've brought it up to the temperature we want. We then shut off the shower spray, and open this valve, which then is essentially filling your bathtub for when you're ready to give a bath. So now you can simply proceed to get to the resident. By the time you get back, it should be full and you're ready to give a bath. Okay? So I'm gonna
Tell them about this.
Yep.
Why it's open and closed, right?
Yeah, we'll get there when that's filled and I'll
Okay.
show how that works. Have you had any issues with that?
Some, but
We've had a couple loosen up. We've had some.
yeah, that's good.
Okay. So I'm opening it up so it's ready to put the resident in when you get it. How many folks have used the transporter for transferring into the tub? Yeah, is that all done well? Good, okay. Well, I won't spend a heck of a lot of time on this. I'll just give you a few informative things that you may or may not know. The main thing is with the size of your room, you're not able to come in forward and turn around because it just isn't the room. So what you'll want to do, and I won't bring it there, but if you bring in the resident and you want to close the door and kind of move it to that open space right there so you can put somebody on without having to spin it around or anything like that. The transporter is equipped with a digital scale. We using the scale?
Okay.
Okay. We gotta turn it around a little bit here. The scale, while I'm doing this little loopy-doop here, that's for if you're going down a hallway or something with it. You know, if you've got four wheels that rotate, it's hard to make it go a straight line. So what you do is just flip that over and then it'll help straight. Okay?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, sometimes it flips over and then you can't turn it. But that's what that's for. I don't know how much you're using it for transporting, but that'll make it a lot easier going down the hallway. So, okay. So the digital scale is located right here. It's simple to use. Now you will want to zero it before you start using it for the day. It generally will hold a zero for most of it, if not all of the day. But you got to start out that way. And the on and zero button is in the middle. When you push the button, it'll come with some numbers, which is really just a mechanism to check, see if everything's working. Is your battery up enough and so on. And so it's flashing. So if it's not zero, you push the button again and you've got zero. Okay. Now you're able to put the person on the transporter and get a weight. Obviously, if they're not very stable in the chair, you'll want to secure them with the straps, which are all attached to the seat. So as long as they're on there, they won't affect the weight, and that would be zeroed out as well. Okay. Now, one thing that you should know, that if you forget to zero or you have a weight that you're suspicious of, you don't have to get the person off, zero it and put them back on. All you'll need to do is hit the zero again with the person on there, and actually zeroes out their weight. And when you take the person off, you'll be able to look at the weight. Okay? So it's just a little convenience, but nobody ever forgets to zero the scale. So anyway, the up and down is activated with this handheld wand, which I'm sure you're familiar with other equipment, up and down. You'll want to bring it to its lowest point. And are you, for this kind of equipment, are you doing a gate belt transfer or sit to sand or all of the above?
Probably about.
Well, you know how to get somebody on a chair,
Yeah,
let me
we
put
do.
it that way. So that isn't different. It's a nice open platform. You will want to lock the wheels so it doesn't move on you as you're trying to make that transfer. There are two straps that are available. You can take these all the way off and put them in the cabinet, or you can use them in a couple of fashions. They work like a button and buttonhole. These are the buttons. There's 5 of them, one down here. And just recommend that there's no right way to use these. It's just, if you have any concerns, you should be using them. You don't want somebody slipping off of the chair. But
Is that rubber, that material?
Sorry?
On the white part, is that rubber?
It's actually a neoprene material. It's very soft and smooth, but it doesn't absorb water. So, no problems there. So the standard orientation would be, one around the waist and one up around the chest. But as somebody's got this done, you can go crisscross, and you could go both ways this way, kind of like a car harness, or
Yeah.
you can do something like this, particularly if it's somebody who slips out rather than slumps. You've got a button down here that you can come through the groin area, again with those pads. Maybe doesn't look or sound very comfortable, but it's better than hitting the floor. So it just gives you multiple options. Just be creative. You know what concern you have with that particular resident. I'm sure there's some that do it all, but mostly they're going to slump to the side or slip or what have you. So you have those available to you. If it's not necessary, I recommend that you at least put the waist one on. It can be removed once you've got them in the tub. Okay, so the operational aspect of it is once you've got somebody in the chair and you're ready to transfer over into the tub, you've got to make sure that you have the chair high enough that it's going to clear the seat that's in the tub. So, and then you'll see that there's 2 legs sticking out this way. When you go to put somebody in, you have this, it's kind of self-guiding. You have one leg on the outside and one leg on the inside. And that'll steer it right into place. Okay? So, once you've done that, you can lower it down. And it'll hit a point where the motor will run, but it won't keep going down. It'll just stop. And the same thing, if there's something in there, if it hits it, it'll stop as well. So, okay? There's grab bars here. Now these ones actually fold out of the way if you don't want to use them. And of course a grab bar on the side of the tub. Any questions there? Okay. Well, it's certainly nice to use if you've got somebody that doesn't is unable to sit into the tub or be assisted transfer. The other nice thing about this is we've got this little component here which we call a hair wash ramp, which why other manufacturers haven't thought about that, but most everybody gets their hair washed. And so rather than having to slump somebody forward or whatever you do with other styles of tubs, this you're able to just shower them and it rolls on into the tub. Okay? All right, we'll get this puppy out of the way. And I did say you want to come in backwards with it, did I not?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so if we've got an ambulatory person or somebody that you're just going to give a gate belt transfer or a sit to stand or even a sling lift. It's all compatible because the transfer base will go under the tub just like this one does. I'm sure there may be some that don't fit, but I'm not aware of any. So, but in order to transfer somebody into the tub, particularly if they're ambulatory, you want to see them get into the tub in this fashion, sit and then pivot, not try to step into the tub or anything like that. Okay? Now, I don't see them, but there's more pads that have little suction cups on that you can put in there. Are you aware of those? Okay. I saw this big foam pad that somebody has put in there to use. Is anybody aware of that one? There's no reason you can't use it, but there are pads that will kind of give you an opportunity to put, a couple here, one up here, so there's comfort on the back. Gives a little bit of elevation for the water to get into. The controls now are, once we've got somebody in the tub, we're going to go back and close the door. Now, did you deal with a lot of anxieties with residents when it comes to bathing? Okay. Well, one thing that we've done here is we've included an aromatherapy aspect to this, and I don't know if you're using it or not. It's back in the cabinet on the side. It has a chrome knob that you turn, and we'll videotape that when we get done. Rotate that, and you have a little capsule that you put in there, and you get. Forgive me, I have a hard time breathing through masks. I might have to peek my nose out. Eucalyptus is one, lavender is another one. And you can start the bath air, which is not Whirlpool. We're not circulating dirty bath water through a pump. We're actually infusing air directly into the tub, which gives you the turbulence and the benefit of therapy. The thing about it is it's not water lubricated. You can turn it on at any time. So right here we have the controls, on, off, and then there's a plus, minus, and this wave, which I'll get to. When you push that button, it comes on at about 60% of its power, and you can turn it up and turn it down. If you've got people that are really anxious about the noise of that, you can turn it way down so it's less intrusive. I'll leave it down just so it's speak over. But you are able to turn this on before you go and get the person. That way it'll start the aromas going, so they're calming scents, so it helps with that. It also, the air that comes out of the jets is heated. So somebody will wear that. Put your hand over there. So it actually helps warm the surface and the environment. So again, that's intended to be for comfort as well as reducing anxieties, because nobody likes to sit in a cold tub. So now it may have shut itself off by the time you get back, but turn it back on and you can run it at any point in time. Okay? Any questions on that one? Okay. So I'm going to close the door. By now you will have heard that the water shut off, so you have a full tank here. Before you give your bath, you want to check the temperatures, make sure they're good. You also want to check by hand, and I'll show you how to do that as well. Okay, so we're ready to go there. Now the way you get the water from the tank into the tub, first of all, over here is your drain mechanism. So we're going to close the drain, and going to come over to this mechanism right here, and when you pull it towards you, it lets the water come out of the tank. Now you always, just for safety, you always want to check that by hand. If it's appropriate, then bring it all the way open. Oops. And she'll start filling. Now, it's a lot of water coming very fast, but we tried to make it so it's not very noisy. It's more soothing and calming, kind of like a waterfall. So, you see, I've left the jets on, so you got the aromatherapy and the heat. But when we were talking about using this for a shower one, you don't have to fill the whole tub. You can fill it up right there if you're going to want to do a foot soak, maybe trim nails or what have you. You're not obligated to take the whole measure. Okay? And now, if you've probably all experienced it, it's really quite dramatic. Having the warm air coming into the tub. If you have a wet hand and you're out here, you can feel the chill. But if you hold it over the tub, the warm air is coming through there, and it actually is a nice warm environment. So again, enjoyment, also anxiety. Now, it will continue to fill until it reaches the height for the depth you want. At that point, come back over here, turn it back off, and however much you've used in that tank, it will replace for the next time. And the idea behind this is really kind of efficiency and not having somebody sit in the tub waiting for it to fill. While you're bathing this person, you're actually filling the next person's tub. So if you're aware of that person wants to have a cooler bath or a hotter bath, this is the time to adjust the temperature. If not, if it doesn't work that way, you can always add water to the tub by just opening the valve up again and adjusting the temperature to elevate the temperature or reduce it. Now, any questions so far? I'm not going to do this right now, but I'm going to tell you one of the things that if you have an emergency and you need to get somebody out of the bath, you can do it by pushing this button and this button together. Now, water's going to come out, but if you try to do it by accident, it won't work unless you push it out. Okay? So, you know, if you're going to get somebody out, get things wet. So, all right, now on the side here is a dispenser for your liquids for both shampoo and body wash. There's a nozzle right here that it comes out. The bath oil must be out. If you're out of bath oil, you got shampoo. But you can dispense that directly into a washcloth for your hand or right into the tub. Now the bath oil, it's important to know that it also has a defoaming agent in it, because a lot of people will want to use their own stuff, and you put Johnson's Baby shampoo in here, and you'll literally have suds up to here. So you can use it, you just got to make sure that you've got some of the bath oil in the water too. You want to eliminate the suds, but it'll reduce it. And more importantly, it's a pH balanced bath oil. It's water emulsified, so it does a very good job of penetrating the skin while the skin is wet. One of the real benefits to it is if you deal with a lot of cradle cap, you can take some of that, put it right on that area at the beginning of the bath, and over a period of time, it literally will clear it up. One of my daughters had that issue. They call it cradle cap, but she used it for a period of time and cleared it up. So there are different ways you can use that. The shampoo is both a shampoo and a body wash. It is also low sudsing, pH balanced, and most people, there's no like oils of tincture of marshmallow or anything that could cause skin irritation. So that's something to be aware of if you've got people like that. Now, is there a high demand for using other stuff? Their own foam shampoo or anything like that? Well, maybe that'll help you. You can accommodate it, but still make it not. I literally, one time I put a tub in, and we'll put a couple in. I filled it up and turned the, excuse me, I didn't fill it up. I just left that room and went to another room. And when I came back, somebody had already began using it. One of the caregivers had started using it. And when I walked in, those suds were like that, going like that. So I make sure I emphasize that. Okay, so I'm gonna start draining the tub, and you'll want to leave the bath air on while it's draining. And a couple of reasons for that. Same thing as the beginning of the bath. You're going to have the aroma, you're going to have the warm air coming up through there to help keep them warm while it's draining. But just as importantly, the bath air keeps all the bath scum in suspension. It doesn't stick onto the sides of the tub, so it's easier to clean the tub afterwards. But more importantly than that, it doesn't stick on their skin. So it's sloughing down into the drain rather than onto their skin, which is a high level of cause for skin conditions. So it's a nice aspect. Is this, to your knowledge, is this one of our shampoos that you got in? Is it suds a lot more? It might be a different one you got. But anyway, so come on. What do I want to go into? Okay, so let me see. I like this. Let's use this. Well, I tell you what, I'll just talk about it, and then afterwards maybe you can video the things that I'm pulling up. In the cabinet on the side here, first of all, it's lockable, and which is an inspector kind of thing that you want to be aware of. Inside this housing is your liquids, both disinfectant as well as your shampoo and disinfectant, shampoo and bath additive. The way that you would, that's the mechanism to put your aromatherapy in. Now, I'm going to shut the bath here. Another thing about the bath air is once you've been using it, about 10 minutes later, it'll turn itself on and run for a couple, 3 minutes. And that's intentional because it helps dry the surfaces down and clear any water that might be retained in the jets. So don't panic, it's supposed to do that.
When I first heard it, I'm like, I know I turned that thing off, why is it coming back on?
Yeah, the phantom. Yeah, and we get a lot of calls about that. That's why I tried to tell everybody that it's intentional, and that's why it's doing it. It's just, you don't want pools of water here and there or any water into the jets. But, so for cleaning the bathtub, in between, because you're closing the door, and there's a valve that turns right and left, and it's marked as disinfectant and fresh water. So to clean the bath, you will turn this to the right side, to the disinfecting side, and the water will start coming out of the jets, and that's a diluted form of the disinfectant. You'll just need to put enough in there that you can use your brush, which I don't see.
Because on the side of the chair, and on the other side, I don't know if you can reach it.
Yeah, there should be 2 brushes. One's a big white one for scrubbing the surfaces, and there's one that's essentially a toilet brush to allow you to get in the tight spaces. Okay, I'll check with Aaron and make sure we don't need to provide more of that. Okay, so now we've got enough. We'll turn it off, and we can use that brush then to go around the surface. It is a quaternary based disinfectant, so all quaternary disinfectants require to be on a hard surface for 10 minutes before you flush it off. And again, that's an inspector thing. You're all familiar with that. They like to catch you on that one.
Yeah.
Not that they know anything about bathing, but they sure know how to catch you when you're not doing what they think you should be doing. But it does need to sit on there for 10 minutes, and then we'll come back over here and I'll turn it to the fresh water side, and it'll start flushing out the system, and then you can use shower water to clean off the rest of the surface. Okay. So pretty straightforward on that one. Kind of, at least I think, kind of convenient. And of course you do want to check periodically the containers. I mean, an obvious thing is if it doesn't come out of there, you're out. But the disinfectant you want to keep an eye on, because it's not always that obvious. So, and these are little jugs like this, both the disinfectant as well as the bathing products. A sealed cap in here just has a hose you pull out of one jug and put into the other. And again, they're labeled on
All
there.
Douglas County Health Center employees, the care committee is now serving no phone to all Douglas County Health Center employees.
Drain it out.
Employees have period. And have your attention, all Douglas County Health Center employees,
And trying to think, is there any questions so far?
no phone, all Douglas County.
Did I answer any questions that you had before I got here?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Disinfectant.
Rinse the rest out. All right. Now, when it comes to opening the door, we need to put a weight or something on that so it goes in better for you. When it comes to opening the door, there's always going to be a little bit of residual water down here, just because it's closing from the outside, so there's a little space there. You give it a moment or two to drain as much as it can, and then when you go to open the door, you will push it, and you see here the seal. If you just run it enough to let that water get down into the what we call a casual water drain, which is this hose down here, it gives it a few seconds to drain off, and then you can open it the rest of the way. So it's just kind of like a hesitation to minimize the amount of water that you get on the floor. It's almost impossible to make it zero, but compared to other tubs with doors, there's very little water. Okay, so we're ready for the next bath. The person, the tub's already pre-filled in the reservoir, and you're ready to go for the next one. Any questions?